welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and this channel is chronicling my journey of living my best life with multiple chronic health conditions. Today I thought it would be interesting to just go over a short little list I made of what I would consider the ideal doctor. Throughout this almost 4-year now journey, I've probably seen 40 doctors or so, and these are the traits that I would look for if I had to pick an ideal doctor, what I would almost interview them for. The first one is sort of basic. They listen to you. They're not interrupting you. They're not playing on their phone or, charting while you're talking, which I know in today's world is very unlikely to happen anyway, but they're just paying attention. And with that, they believe you. They don't tell you that what you're experiencing isn't true, that your symptoms are imaginary, or they don't downplay your symptoms. If you tell them that something is interfering with your life, they believe you. They're willing to sort of brainstorm and figure out what could be going on. When they're listening and believing you, they're not listening to talk, but they're listening to learn and then to sort of work with you to figure out what is going on. They may be the expert in medicine, but you are the expert in your body. And together, ideally, you should arrive at a treatment plan that works for you. And that might not be a normal treatment plan. You may need something different, and that's okay. We're all different. But the doctor should be okay with sort of taking what you say and using their medical knowledge to come up with something that works. Something I've found very helpful, and there's no real way to know this unless you flat out ask the doctor or you know some other way, is if the doctor has their own chronic illness. I have found that when they sort of know on a personal level what you're experiencing, they are much more willing to listen to you, take you seriously, and just understand what you're saying. My new primary doctor has her own chronic illness, so she definitely understands what I'm saying. And oddly enough, when I visited one of my cardiologists at one of my latest appointments, they had apparently been, in the interim months since my last visit, struggling with some health issues. And they'd made the comment that they thought of me because it was sort of one thing after another, and their whole demeanor during the appointment in terms of my activity level and stuff like that completely changed. She was aware of the spoon theory and talked about pacing myself and deciding what I really wanted to spend my energy on. And it was a far cry from previous appointments where it has been more, you need to exercise, you need to figure out a way to make it happen. It was just really interesting that since whatever happened to her happened, she has a totally different outlook on what I'm experiencing. Obviously, I don't want doctors to get sick or anything like that, but if they do or did happen to have something that makes them a little more personally aware of what it's like to live with a chronic illness, I have definitely noticed that is a big, big plus. Another thing you can look for when you're in the doctor appointment and you're talking to the doctor, are they willing to say, I don't know? Very few doctors will say this. I don't know why, but they just don't. They are more likely to make something up, which we'll get to in a minute. But I really think it's important for a doctor to be able to say, I don't know, and then to investigate, to try things, to run tests, to try to figure out what's going on. And with that, I think it's also important for a doctor to feel okay running a test that's not necessarily in their specialty. This more goes for primary care, though it can really go for anything. If you're mentioning a symptom to them and they're like, oh, that sounds like X, let me send you to the specialist, and they know that specialist is going to want certain tests done, there's no reason why that doctor cannot order the test. This is very frustrating. It's happened more than once. You have a cardiologist appointment or whatever, and you know they're going to want certain tests run. You know they're going to want like a pro-BNP. You know they're going to want an EKG. There's certain things they're going to want. Why the doctor who is referring you to them doesn't order the test so that the specialist has something to look at for the appointment totally boggles my mind. So you go to the cardiologist and they're like, oh, okay, well, let's get these tests done and I'll see you in 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Whereas if we had the test to begin with, you could have a better conversation with the doctor when you go to the appointment. That's one of my pet peeves. I understand that there's sort of this weird hierarchy in medicine that you don't want to step on other people's toes, but it really just makes it difficult for the patient. It extends the time to treatment because you need test results sometimes. So doctors that will do that, very good. Then we go to a really big red flag. When doctors don't know, I have noticed they tend to just make stuff up. And I don't know if they don't think their patients are aware they're making stuff up, but as someone who works in the medical field, it is kind of almost funny when doctors say things that just aren't physiologically plausible. Case in point, I had a nurse practitioner in my pulmonologist office tell me that maybe my shortness of breath was caused by these small airways in my neck. There are no small airways in your neck. It doesn't exist. There's none. And I called her out on it. And her eyes got wide and she didn't know what to say. I've had a cardiologist tell me that you don't gain fluid weight in your upper body from heart failure. You only gain it in your stomach and your lower body. That's complete BS. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And it's a big red flag, and for me, it makes me question basically everything the doctor says. Because they've already showed me that they're not truthful. So why should I believe anything that they're saying? But sometimes you're stuck with the doctor, which is really unfortunate, and that's sort of where I am now. We'll see what 2024 brings. I'll make another video about that. But yeah, if I could have my ideal doctor, they would listen to me, believe me. They're willing to sort of talk out what they're thinking, what I'm thinking about what's wrong, and work with me to figure out a plan. Even better if they've had their own chronic illness or illness and they can relate on some level. They would not be afraid to say, I don't know, and if they don't know, they don't make stuff up. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys are having a good day whenever it is you're seeing this, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.